Good morning. Good morning. It is time once again for Joyful Joints live here on YouTube. And Tuesdays, 11:30, we go live for 30 minutes and we work on our bodies. We work on finding our joints, getting them in motion in ways that allow us to get to a space of feeling more joyful, more hopeful, more comfortable in our lives. And hopefully in doing so and bringing ourselves to a space where we are more joyful and comfortable, we are stronger and we are more able to provide a really loving space for everyone else around us. So this is the end of Love Month, so it's going to be infused with all of the work we've done in our heart and all of the loving energies that are coming through. And then perhaps next month, we're going to get into some more strength and mental and make things happen because we are in such a good space. That's our goal. It's one of our goals. So we welcome you to this. This is our last session of this month. We did miss one session because my physical body decided it wasn't feeling very strong. And I learned a lot about loving energy and taking care of my heart during that time period and accepting love from others. So on this last week of the month, we always like to work our way to the floor and do our practice from that point of view to give us a perspective of how can I do something good for my body even when I'm resting, potentially laying down on the ground. So that's what we're working on. And we're working on the movement of the rib cage because the rib cage is where the heart is housed. The lungs are in there breathing and providing some essential massage work for our heart. So we want to breathe better. And that comes with a lot of joints. But go back and watch the last two classes for the month to understand that fully. Right now, let's review. How do I get to the floor? How do I get to the floor? And oh, wait a minute, before we go there, who wants to come up with an assessment for the day? Me. So our assessment for today is going to be one of the movements that we've been working on, which is tipping over sideways. So gently, however you want to do that, assess how does it feel to reach up and over and give yourself a gentle side bend. How far can you go? Where's the tightness? I feel tightness here. I don't feel any discomfort in my lower back. Sometimes this motion immediately brings to mind I can feel my lower back, but mine feels amazing today. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for a job well done this month. And hopefully you'll be able to do that as well. All right, so making our way to the floor. You all figured out what that feels like? Memorize it? Okay, good. Now to get to the floor safely, we can use our chair. We're gonna have a space on the ground. If getting to the floor safely is not in your wheelhouse, lay yourself on a couch or on a bed or something that is fairly hard, a firm surface, because we would like to be able to get some feedback from the hard surface. So again, the hardest surface your body can handle at the moment. And we'll go down by using our hands. If you do not need your hands and you'd like to challenge, then practice going down on one knee without them. Otherwise, use your chair for support. Come to two knees. This might be where you jump into. And hello, those of you who are here live, by the way, little squirrel there. I'm so excited to see you, but not see you. We're glad you're here with us and sharing the energy. So being on our knees is a position that is often lost as we go through our time period here on Earth. For whatever reasons, we can have soreness in our knees, so it's literally uncomfortable to be on them. Or we might not have the strength to actually be able to pull our hips forward and to sit ourselves up tall. This requires some stretch of the thighs and some other things in order for us to be able to sit up nice and tall like this. So this might be an assessment for those of us who maybe couldn't quite figure out that side to side move. So how does it feel to sit here? Are you capable at all of getting your feet flat on the floor? Or do your feet want to stay flexed? Why don't you try each of those positions? Flexing your feet, putting them flat, maybe leaning yourself back a little bit. How strong are your legs? Can your legs allow you to lean back without crashing down? This requires, again, a lot of strength and a lot of work going on in our hip joints, okay? From this position, then we sit down to the side. So I like to use my hands, let my hips sit off to the side. Again, another assessment. I guess I'm giving you a lot of assessment possibilities today. What if you didn't use your hands? Are you capable of sitting all the way down to the side without using your hands? And then being able to bring our feet in front of us. So quite a variety of things to check on. Now, bring your tushy nice and close in to your chair. Lay yourself flat on your back and have your legs resting on the chair. Now, regardless of what kind of shape your body is in, if it feels good and it feels strong, it's still important to come back to this completely restful position from time to time, right? Just because we're in a good space doesn't mean we don't come back and give ourselves this opportunity to just enjoy being flat and being flat on the ground. It's going to get warm here, and we're going to be able to do this outside. What a cool place to practice lying on the ground. Now, for some of us, maybe laying on the ground outdoors in public is something we don't feel like we want to do. But if you're brave and you don't care, and the most important thing to you is to do something kind to your body, find a nice, beautiful, clean ground space and try this laying down outside, looking up at the sky. Maybe it's at night and you get to look at the stars. It's amazing. And I'd love to hear if you try that out. Let us know how that works for you. Okay. Let's get on with it. Number one, I want you to pay attention to your pelvis. I want you to be aware of your sacrum, your tailbone. It is literally 5 fused vertebra, 5 vertebrae that have fused together and created this thing which we call our tailbone. And I'd like for you to wiggle around on it. Wiggle your tailbone on the ground. Yes. And by the way, our legs are as close to 90 degrees as we can get while they're also supported here. So I'm rolling around and I'm going to see, I want everyone to find out, where are the edges of my tailbone? Where's the top part of it? Where's my right corner, the left corner? And then there's a point down at the bottom. Yeah, so I found all the edges of my triangle. That is my tailbone or my sacrum. And I want to go now and just relax. Don't move anymore. And I want you to notice, where is the pressure? Where does the pressure land on your tailbone? Is it on one of the corners or sides of your triangle, or is it right in the center? What we would love is for our relaxed body to land with the pressure right in the center of the tailbone, okay? The likelihood that that's happening for you is probably low unless you've been working with this for a while. Then you might be right there. So now everybody on purpose, make the adjustment to put the pressure of the tailbone right in the center against the floor. And I want you to now, for the rest of our class, we're going to try to hold that still. Why are we going to try to hold that still? Because we're trying to gain mobility and flexibility and movement around the heart, around the rib cage and the chest area. In order for something to be able to move well, it has to have something stable to push away from. Does that make sense? To move in reference to. So hold the pelvis for the rest of the class. Game number 1, I'd like for everybody to reach their arms up in front of you. So I'm reaching toward the ceiling. And I'd like you to take your shoulder blades and press them backwards into the ground. Press your shoulder blades backward into the ground, so much so that your chest lifts up, your heart rises, not your head, not your shoulders, they stay down. My heart center is lifting off the ground. And when I press enough with my shoulder blades, I get these little quivers. There's little tiny muscles that start going, what am I doing? I don't do this very often. Now I want you to relax. Sink your heart back down to the ground, your spine back down to the ground, and now reach more for the ceiling. So your shoulder blade back here is coming up off the floor. Up off the floor. Feel it? Now check in with your sacrum. Are you still on that point? Let's keep this motion. Press your shoulder blades down and back into the ground, lifting your heart up off the floor. I'm pushing with the lower edge of my shoulder blade, the part that's way down here. below my armpit, not the part that's up here, way down here. Press that into the floor and feel your heart rise. Stay on your sacrum. Release, put your heart back down, reach your shoulder blades back up to the ceiling. Let's do that a few more times, maybe at your own pace. Press and squeeze, maybe more than you think you can. Press into the floor. And then release, feel that heart melt into the ground. Yes, connecting with the earth and softening the front side of our chest, softening. Again, press the shoulder blades back and squeeze. Do you remember? This is what we talked about last week about the arms being rooted at the heart. You are now finding a sensation of what it feels like back there where the arms meet the heart center. And there you go. And release. All right, great job. Let's let our arms go down by our sides. And we're going to do some eye movements, okay? So wiggle your tailbone around. Let's do a reassess here. This would be, can you feel more of the edges of your tailbone? Does it move a little easier or bigger or smoother? What's going on? Down at the lower end, and then let's find that center point again. Okay, so what happened for me is my sacrum is now much, it's more spread out. It's like flatter. It doesn't feel like it's on a bump. And that to me is a nice relaxation of any tension that might have been going on there. That happened because we did this shoulder blade motion, okay? So I like that exercise. My body likes it. I'm going to do it more. That's what we're learned. Eyes, are you ready? Reach up with your eyes as far as you can. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Maybe there's a wall or a picture on the wall you can look at. Now stretch your eyes down, down, down. So I'm looking at the ceiling, but I'm also maybe looking at my cheeks. See if I can see past my cheeks. Now we're going to do that motion 8 times fairly quickly. Look up and down. If you need to slow down, please do. But maybe challenge yourself today to keep up. Up and down and up and down. 4 more times. 4 and down. And 3 and down. How's your sacrum? Relax your chest. Up and down. And now, whew. Yeah, so isn't it interesting? When we move our eyes in a way that's a little bit challenging, my chest got a little excited and puffed up and tightened up, and I had to remind it to relax. My sacrum point kind of shifted off to one side. I had to bring it back. So these are the things we're going to find a lot of discipline. You know, self-discipline is a form of self-love. It's not always just about letting yourself do what you want to do. It's about having discipline to hold back in areas that maybe are not that great for us, okay? So we're going to work on discipline of stabilizing the pelvis, keeping the chest soft. Now let's take our eyes and move them from side to side. Ready? Turn right, left, right. This is your eyeballs moving, only your eyeballs. Be disciplined, hold your head still. And right and left. 4 more. Right and 3 and 2 and 1. Very nice. And then check it out. How was your discipline that time? Mine was better. I had to remind myself we're going to stay still and quiet in the torso. Let's do 2 more of these eye movements. We're going on a diagonal. Up to the right, down to the left. Up to the right, down to the left. Up right, down left. Up right, down left. Other side, up left, down right. Up left, down right. Are you smiling? Up left, down right. Up left, down right. 1 more time. Up left and down right, and relax. Bravo, everybody. All right, wiggle around. How's the tailbone now? If you're not used to laying on a hard floor, you might be like, oh, it's actually kind of going numb. It's not used to this input. That's okay. Wiggle it around, find it again. Some of you might be like, wow, it's moving so easily and so smoothly now. That'd be a great thing. Next, we're going to work on mobilizing our rib cage. So I'd like you to take your arms and float them up off the ground. So my hands are right here beside the sides of my thighs. I'm going to now look down with my eyes, down with my eyes, down with my eyes, and I'm going to pick up my forehead. So I'm going to think about where my hair meets my forehead, and I'm going to pick that up maybe a little half inch. Now some of you are like, dang, my head is really heavy. That hurts my neck. I'm sorry, but not sorry. And lay back down again, okay? So this is a very, very challenging exercise. And you may or may not be able to get your head off the floor, but there's gonna be some good work that goes along with this. So if you need to support your head with your fingers, you're welcome to do that, okay? If you can hang with me here, we're gonna do not just pick up our head. The next time, we're also going to compress at our chest. We're gonna fold into our front heart. Let's see what happens. Float the arms. Look down with your eyes. Pick that head up a little bit. Now, start moving your collarbones down the front of your body. Fold right into your front heart. This is what we call in Pilates class a C curve. Now, I'm not just throwing my chin. My shoulder blades have rolled up off the floor because my collarbones are going toward my heart, and my heart is compressing in the front. And then we're going to slowly lay back down. Now, you may or may not be able to stay up there with me the whole time. You'll build up your endurance. I wanted to stay for a while so you can see and hear all of the components. Let's practice a couple more, what we call C curve. Ready? Float the arms. Look down with the eyes. Pick up the head and roll. Reach those hands further and further until you're looking between your knees. Now, check in with your sacrum. Are you still on the same pressure point? Or did that accidentally roll up to where your belly button is? Put it back down and release, lay flat. So if you were to lay down and you feel warmth or tension here in kind of the back sides of our neck, then you're doing it right. If all of your effort is in the front into your throat area, I want you to try to bring that chin a little bit closer to the throat. Try not to let your chin jut out in front of you, okay? It's tricky. It might take some practice, but I can only teach it to you. You have to do the practice. I can't do that part for you. All right, here we go. Float those arms. Look down with your eyes. Compress in the throat. Pick up the head and roll. Let's see if you can keep that sacrum flat. Soften in your heart area so it'll fold maybe a little further. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, and then lay back down. Yeah. All right. We can reassess how's our pelvis doing. Guess what else we can reassess here? Arms to the front. Press your shoulder blades back into the floor and feel your heart rise. Okay, that actually feels easier to me this time. I have a little less quiver still there. Release it back down. Maybe do that one more time. Press and squeeze. And release it back down. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to do kind of a fun one here. Well, I think it might be fun. I don't know what you're going to think about it, really. But we're going to reach one arm up in the air. And we're going to reach the other arm down. This is our flat on our back side bend. So you'll notice, as I maintain my heart, my arm is not getting all the way to the floor, okay? But what I'm not doing is allowing my neck to get all pinchy. I'm just seeing how much can my armpit open up here. And then I'm going to reach sideways. I'm going to start to slide one hand down, reach the other one up, and let my body bend to the side. So the left rib cage over here is getting a big old stretch. Maybe, I can grab a hold of my chair and I can pull on it a little bit. Let's get a little more stretch, a little more opening. Now on the right side of my rib cage, it's compressing. There you go. But I'm also going to come back and go, okay, wait, where was my pelvis? Let me keep my sacrum points the same. And let's come back to center, switch sides. Reach up with one arm, down with the other. So my right arm is up. I'm stretching and opening my side ribs on the right. I'm compressing my ribs on the left. Okay, then I'm gonna come back and make sure my sacrum point, I'm on that same place, it didn't move anywhere. I'm gonna reach a little more, maybe grab my chair and help pull a little bit, I don't know. And then we're gonna come back to the center. Let's do each side one more time. Reach up, reach down, side bend in the ribs. Oh, interestingly, look, my arm goes to the floor this round. Check in with your sacrum. Make sure your heart is still resting and soft. No tension in the belly. Other side, reach up, reach down, side bend. Thank you. Good. And then we'll bring it back to the center. All right. Our final exercise down here on the floor, we're going to reach with one arm. So this is my left arm, and I'm going to aim this arm toward the opposite knee. Okay, so maybe we'll even bring that knee closer to us. I'm reaching toward that knee and beyond. My right side is going to stay, my right rib cage is going to stay on the ground, while the left side does that kind of lift up. Now, I want to keep my sacrum flat. There's a lot going on here, you guys. And I'm reaching like my shoulder blade, my left shoulder blade coming up off the ground. And then we lay back down. So this has got a twist and it's got a compression and all kinds of things. If your head needs support, put your hand back there. Reach up and across and lay back down. So we're kind of doing diagonal crunchies. Now, please don't lead with your chin at all. This has nothing to do with the head. This has everything to do with, is my band of power around where my heart is strong enough to make this motion happen? Oh, how about one more in this direction? This is kind of like a workout today. What's going on? All right. Do you feel that? Just relax for a second. Do you feel how there's kind of like a diagonal activation in the body? Just notice anything you might notice. And it might be nothing. It's okay to not feel all this stuff yet, especially if it's your first time doing some of these movements. Let's do the other side. Reach your right arm toward the ceiling. Bring that left leg in a little closer to us. And then aim your arm just to the outside of that leg. Okay? What am I doing next? Looking in with my eyes, picking up my head, and sending my right shoulder blade, there we go, up and around. My left shoulder blade stays still, my pelvis stays still, my sacrum, and there I've got this diagonal crunch going on. And we'll lay down. If you want to support your head with your left hand, please do. Here we go. Fold up and in that diagonal, let your chin rest. Let your sternum soften so that it can fold better and lay back down. Let's do 4 more. Coming up, soften the chest so it bends and lay down. Remember, we want flexible rib cage. It's not a solid cage. Good. 2 more coming up. You might notice that going to one direction is way easier than the other. Or they're both really hard. Good, and relax. Woo! Very, very, very nice work, you guys. Okay, so let's do our one more exercise laying down, but this time it's going to be about stabilizing the rib cage and making the pelvis move. So I want you to take your right foot, and hopefully there's room, you can place your right foot on the floor while the other foot is up. Now, if you're on a couch or something, you might have to scoot like further away so the foot can be on the ground and maybe only your heel is supported at this moment. Okay? Let's see what we got here. The game is stabilize, let your heart melt and stay still on the ground. Press your right foot into the floor and have your right hip come up off the ground. So I'm pushing down on my right foot. My right knee stays to the outside. My right hip comes off the ground, but my right rib is still down. And then as I release the pressure on my foot, my hip can come back down, okay? So if we're thinking about that pressure point of our sacrum being on the floor, that's our starting point. And then we're gonna roll the pressure of our pelvis over to the left side. Now, how many of you automatically, your ribs are wanting to come along for the ride, or maybe even be the leaders? So I'm asking you to hold still. Hold those ribs still and let your pelvis go independently. That's correct. The only thing moving should be the right side of your pelvis. It's coming off the ground and it's coming back down. 2 more tries. Relax and unguard your lower back. Unguard. Let go of any tension or fear you're holding there. That's it. 1 more. Okay. Other side. Change legs. I know this is a very, very complicated movement, but life is complicated. So every once in a while, we have to get out of our rigid basics and try something that has a little more substance to it. All right? It won't, if you take it easy, you'll be fine, and you'll start to learn how to be more complex that way. You won't have to stay within such rigid lines. Make sense? All right, here's my heart. My left foot's on the ground. The ribs are going to stay put. This left side of my pelvis rises up as I push down on my left foot, and then it comes back to flat. So my sacrum is centered. As I push on the floor, I roll the pressure point onto the right side of my sacrum. My left butt cheek is off the ground, and we come back down. Press, up goes my hip. My ribs are quiet. Whoops, my left rib was wanting to go along for the ride. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to be more disciplined in holding my left rib against the ground while my left hip rises. And put it down 2 more times. Release any tension or fear in the lower back. Just investigate this motion a little bit. Very good. And then we come back. Let's reassess from the ground. How does the pelvis feel now? It might be very confused about what just happened, because that might be emotion that's been lost. What about reaching, pressing my shoulder blades, feeling that component? Ooh, that feels so strong right now. I love it. No quivers at all. And release. That's my experience. And now it's time to get up. So we hug our legs into the body. Yeah. Even just in drawing our legs in, you can take note of, where's the pressure point? Did the pressure point of your sacrum just roll up and into your lower back? What if we put it back down into our sacrum and then try to bring our legs in? This is actually a really nice hip mobility drill that we might end up doing next month. Little preview. But from this point, bring everything as a unit over onto your side and sit yourselves up. We love to crawl our way around. We can reassess. How am I doing while I'm sitting up tall? Is it easier to be on your knees now? Good. Hello, everybody who's live again. Some of you snuck in while I wasn't looking. It's so good to see you. How was your class today? If you're a subscriber, you can let us know in the chat, how was your class? Hey, you advanced people, remember those of you who tried to sit down to one side with no hands? Can you get back up that same way with no hands? And can you do that on both sides? That's an advanced move for you. All right, and then the final getting up, 1 foot at a time. Make your way to standing and say hello, back to verticality. Good, shake it all out, everybody. Ooh, you need to walk around just to see what your legs feel like a little bit. Great. And then let's complete our class with our final reassessment back to what we were assessing at the beginning, which was reaching up and over and sideways, and then the other direction. Okay, so you know what? I think somebody out there, yay, good, excellent. Glad your class was good, Kathy. Reaching from one side to the other. I want somebody to come along and measure this. Take a still photo from the beginning of class and measure it against a still photo from the end of class here, and tell me, I think there's a big angle difference. I still feel really good in my lower back. So again, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. And I also feel a whole lot less tension down my left side that moved away during class. So I thank you for being here. You're going to get our newsletter here in just a minute. Well, for those of you who are subscribed, if you're not subscribed, go to pranavar.org and ask to join our mailing list, because we're talking about it is in the giving that we receive. And I love to be here because what I would like to receive, and you might call this selfish, I just call it using the rules that are set up for us to use, but I would like to be the beneficent or the recipient of a healthy body and lots of loving kindness. I would like to live in a world where I feel loving kindness and my body is healthy. So in order to give me the best opportunity to receive that, that is the purpose behind Joyful Joints. I hope that you feel it. I hope that you understand that what we're giving you here is really good tools and opportunity to make your body feel good and come along with you in a healthier way for a longer period of time. And I hope that it's coming through with a lot of loving kindness, because it's truly what I wish for you. It is truly a wish to feel this sensation of love. And so as we give those things, that is what we are then entitled to receive. I choose to receive that from you. I choose to expand it, to magnify it, and to keep sending it back each and every week so that we together are going to achieve greater things than we ever thought possible. All right, I'm so glad to see you guys. We'll see you again next week. It'll be the next month, and I can't wait. Ciao.